Hey guys, it's your girl Jay, and welcome back to my channel in my kitchen. And today we're going to be making some candied yams. This is a really easy recipe. It does not take boiling the yams on the stove or anything like that. We're just gonna basically season them up with our ingredients, and I'm gonna show you how I do that. And we're just gonna put them in the oven, let the oven cook them and do its thing. Okay, so let's get into it. Okay, so as you can see here, I have my sweet potatoes. Now I go ahead and chop off both ends so it could just be easier for me to peel. I do not have a potato. Well, I do have a potato peeler, but I don't use it. I think I don't know how to use it, so I just don't use it. I've always been taught how to peel a potato like this. So that's just how I do it. I don't peel the potato with a knife that has like the ridges on them. I do it with the smoother knife. I don't know what these knives are called, so I don't know the difference. I just know which knife to grab when I'm peeling potatoes or cutting meat or anything like that. Okay. So so I'm just peeling the potatoes here, and I always make sure that I take off that extra like white part, because I believe, this is my theory though, but I believe that that white part makes it bitter. Like it's like the bitter part of the sweet potato. So I just always make sure that that extra little white part on the sweet potato is cut off. When I make sweet potato pies, I feel like I can taste it, like those little bitter parts. So I always just make sure it's cut off. You don't have to do it if you don't want to, but that's just what I do. All right, so now I'm gonna cut them, turn it on its side and just cut, not, you don't want them too thin, but you don't want them too thick either, because when you cut them too thick, it takes all a very long time for them to cook. So you want them like a medium size. You don't want to cut them too thin, because it's gonna be like too like flabby or too, I don't know. I don't like them too thin, so I just like them just enough, like right in the middle. Okay, and so here I'm just cutting up another potato. I used 3 big potatoes to make for this pot. It wasn't a lot of people in my house, so I just made enough for us. And but like when I make them for like Thanksgiving or something like that, and I'm making like a real big pan of sweet potatoes, I'll do like 5 to 6 really big potatoes, sometimes 7 or 8, because my family really loves sweet potatoes. It's like a staple. And living in the South, sweet yams, call them yams, call them sweet potatoes, it's a staple, in our household down here. But yeah, I just cut them at a medium size so they can cook thoroughly in the oven, okay? And when you put them in the oven, you're going to cook them on 400 degrees for about 45 minutes. Like, check them right after 45 minutes to see if your potatoes are soft. If you can stick a fork through the potato without like any friction or anything like that, and they just soft and they just go right through, then you know that your potatoes are thoroughly cooked. Now when it comes to sweetness, that's another thing that you'll just have to, I guess, gauge. You can add more sugar if you want. You can't take away sugar, obviously, but you can always add more sugar. So that's just a little tip about these sweet potatoes. So now that I have all my sweet potatoes cut, I am going to go in with my cinnamon and add that in. Cinnamon and nutmeg, I add that in first. And why I do that is because I want to make sure that I'm kind of like seasoning it like chicken, y'all. I know that it's so weird. I think I'm the only one that does this. But after I put my cinnamon and nutmeg on my sweet potatoes, I like almost like season them up like it's chicken. Like I didn't put some seasoned salt, garlic powder, onion powder on the doggone potatoes. But that's just what I do, because I want to make sure that all of my potatoes are fully covered with cinnamon. I love cinnamon. on my yams. So I want to make sure that every single last sweet potato got some cinnamon or a little nutmeg on it or something, because that's just the taste that I love. I like them sweet, but I also like to taste, like, the cinnamon, because why would you put cinnamon in there if you can't taste it, right? So that's why I do that, okay? So next, after I add in my cinnamon and nutmeg, I'm going to go in with my white sugar. Now, before the sugar, don't put too much nutmeg, y'all. Just put like 2 little drops in your sweet potato yam dish. Don't put too much, because you'll taste the nutmeg. Nutmeg is very powerful and pungent, so make sure you don't put too much, okay? So when I go in with my white sugar, my method is I just make sure when I pour the sugar out the bag, I just cover all of the sweet potatoes, right? That's how I kind of gauge how much sugar I'm going to put in there, because I don't use a measuring cup. I just pour just to cover the top of the sweet potatoes. Now, I don't fully cover the sweet potatoes because I don't want to go into a diabetic shock, y'all. I'm not pre-diabetic and I'm not a diabetic, and I don't want to get there. Okay, so I don't put, like, I've seen one video where the lady put like tons and tons of sugar in the sweet potatoes. I can't do that, okay? Because too, I do put brown sugar in there as well. So I'll put like 2 of those spoons. I'll put like 2 or 3 of them of the brown sugar in there. That way you can make sure that you don't put too much white sugar in there, okay? So then after you add the sugar, you're gonna go in with some water. And the reason why I add just a tap of water in there is because when the sugar crystallizes in the oven, you don't want it to like stick or be like too sugary, like too syrupy. You don't want, that's just me. I don't want like too much syrup in my dish. So I add just a little tap of water. So then when the sugar crystallizes, it could just even out, if you will. And then I put a half a stick of butter. I think when I cut those, it was like ended up being like a half a stick or whatever. But yeah, guys, this is how it turned out. Like I said, I baked these in the oven on 400 for 45 minutes even. No more than 45 minutes. I took them out, I tasted them, and voila, you got your sweet potatoes or your candied yams, however you say it. But I don't add marshmallows. We don't do that down here. I've never had them when I add marshmallows. I'm not finna do it. I'm not finna try it. So yeah, no, I'm not doing that. But yeah, this is just a simple way to make candied yams. And if you guys want to see more videos like this, please like, share, comment, and subscribe. And I'll see you in the next video. Bye.